It's a real concern, and it's one that we very often talk about and we're very aware of. This notion of bring your full self to work can be quite intimidating, and it can be a tyranny, of emotional performance, right? Where you're now supposed to show up and you need to be vulnerable. That became sort of a thing, right? And it's almost like your performance is now measured on the grounds of like, how high is your emotional intelligence, your social intelligence, can you be vulnerable? And if you're not,
Right.
what is wrong with you? Which is ironic. So I think the key thing is here just to give choices. Not everybody wants all of their desires and needs fulfilled by their work. They're quite happy with a 30-hour, 40-hour work week or less, ideally less. We've seen all the research showing that 3-4 day work weeks are quite conducive to better outcomes in business. So I think that the choice is really important. But I think ultimately, because we spend so much time at work, 75%, I believe, of our waking hours as knowledge workers, I think the question is, right, so work, if you define it as an amount of energy devoted to something over distance, the question is, what do you devote your energy to, if not work? What is work to begin with? So it depends a little bit. And I know this is not everybody has sort of this privilege of being able to even pursue the work that is purposeful and meaningful to them and have their energy and the time they spend match in the best possible fashion. But I think we should, if we can, within the confines that are inevitably there, we should at least try. And I think what we're trying to do is just open up a possibility space. So if people want to be more vulnerable, if they want to experience emotional intimacy at work, and by the way, we should also in this context mention the loneliness crisis, so blatant and outrageous in a way. And workplaces, of course, more than any other societal institution, I would argue, with sort of the secularization of our Western societies, they have the power and perhaps the responsibility as well to create intimacy. We know that intimacy is the antidote to loneliness, and it doesn't even matter whether it's a very close relationship to a very close confidante or friend. What matters is the small moment of attachment, as the marriage or relationship researcher John Gottman says, right? So if you have a lot of micro moments of attachment, and they're even with strangers, you have moments of intimacy, I think that can fuel you, that can mitigate any sensation of loneliness. And loneliness also comes from the fact, I think, that your energy and who you are, who you truly are, is not really matched by what you do. I think that leads to burnout, that leads to stress, that leads to trauma, that leads to, I think, depression and to loneliness, right? Also being lonely with yourself. We try to do what we can, but I think we're trying not to become cynical. So of course you can always instrumentalize mindfulness, you can instrumentalize the types of experiences that we create, and then say, oh, this is all great because it's going to make us more productive, or it's going to help us make more money, and that's it, whatever it takes. And if it's spiritual, great, let's use it. And that's of course a real pity, but I still think introducing these practices to business, no matter the intentions in the beginning, even if it's in the guise of enhancing productivity, which is much easier for many managers to make a case for, once it's there and once the value is recognized and once it's experienced, maybe my hope is it'll take a life on its own. And then it will develop so much momentum and force that this instrumentalism, this utilitarian mindset might be overcome. So I think that's the hope that I have, at least.